Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the first official video in the new library. And we are starting off with a fun one. We're going to be doing my mid-year book tag. Such a time to be alive. The worst book I read this year, biggest disappointment. He like restored my faith in men even though he's fictional. I don't annotate. Dungeon Crawler Carl, genuinely I thank God for that every day. He said life-changing. I've done this I think for the last couple of years for sure. Oh, my battery is already flashing. But for sure the end of year tag, which is mostly the same questions, but this one's kind of more fun because it's a mid-year check-in, and specifically this year I feel like has been a lot different reading wise than my years previous, in the sense that I'm about halfway below the number of books I normally read. I have been reading around 100 a year since 2022, but this is the first year I'm really significantly decreasing that. So I'm sitting at around 20 right now, I think. But with that being said though, I have been going for quality over quantity. So we have a ton of amazing reads to talk about in today's video. Okay, so the first question is best book you have read so far in 2026. I think I've had a couple 5-star reads this year, but none of them stand out like this book does. I think this is like a 6-star read. When I read this book, I just have not felt that feeling of connecting so deeply to characters in such a long time. This book just has genuinely everything I could want in a book and that I love in a book. It had romance, friendship, family stuff, and then I also do love the little micro trope of a time loop, or they're in like a different time period than their normal life or whatever, and I loved that. It had all of these things and it was just such a beautiful story, and I remember sobbing my actual eyes out. And if a book can make me cry like that because I love the characters so much, and most of my tears weren't even because it was sad, it was because it was just so beautiful and it just wrapped up so beautifully, and I just could not stop crying about it. So this follows our main girl Meg. She is living this life in Hollywood as this famous actress on this super popular TV show, and she's kind of had enough of that. She's going through a lot, so she decides to book a plane to Ireland, and specifically in Ireland, the place where she would have went to college had she have chosen to go there and not go somewhere else. But when she gets there, it is kind of like an alternate universe, and she is essentially put into her own world. Like when she gets there, everyone knows her, she has a house, she has friends, all of that. She feels like an imposter in her own life. And what I loved about this is she actually tells people that she's an imposter and tells them about her real life. And I feel like in a lot of books like this, that doesn't happen. They just kind of figure it out on their own and act like they're supposed to be there when they're not. So I really liked that because I feel like it just made the relationships in this book so much stronger. So this was easily my favorite of the year. Ever since I finished this book, I've thought about rereading it, and it's been really hard not to do that. And it's also like really short, so please go read this. And then completely flipping that, we have worst book you've read so far this year. Now, I'm someone who, I don't like to talk badly about things or specifically people, but this book just was not for me. So basically, if you didn't know, I have a book club with some of my friends, and we just kind of randomly pick books. Like it's always what's on Kindle Unlimited, or we have like the book clubs app, and that kind of also recommends some stuff. One of us just always randomly goes through Kindle Unlimited or whatever and just randomly plops books down or whatever. And so we vote through the book clubs app too, and it gives you kind of like a brief synopsis, but I didn't fully read all of the synopsises. I just go on the top blurb, and the top blurb for this one is like a forbidden romance, whatever. And so we start reading the book. I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is good. I'm liking the writing and everything. And then just the relationship just is morally not okay, and it really icked me out. I don't want to spoil it. That really turned me off from the book because it just was not right, and I just could not romanticize that at all. So I think this is the worst book I read this year, not because of the writing or the characters or anything, but simply because I can't root for them, and it felt just like icky to read about what was going on in their relationship. So that is going on that one. But again, I really enjoyed the writing, so I would love to read something else from this author, but this trope, not for me. If any of us in the book club would have known that going into it, we wouldn't have picked the book. It was just like none of us fully read the synopsis, or it didn't give us the full synopsis on the app. Also, like the thing is with this, we picked like 5 options. Sometimes we meet virtually or whatever, and so we don't like discuss options usually, someone just picks, which this book kind of flipped that for our book club. So, and then we have best sequel you've read so far in 2026. There's another question after this, worst sequel, and I've only read like 2 or 3 sequels this year, so I couldn't do that because I enjoyed them all so much. And I wouldn't even consider this necessarily a sequel, I'd just consider it an interconnected book, and that is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. And technically, like on Goodreads it says Say You'll Remember Me #2, so technically I guess, but I have loved all of Abby Jimenez's books I have read. I think I've only not read Life's Too Short, but all the other ones I've really enjoyed by her. Specifically her new ones, like from Yours Truly Up, I've loved them all, like given them all 5 stars or just under 5 stars, and this was no exception. It was definitely different from a lot of other romances that I've read before, but I really liked how it went. And there were some times in this book where it could have went a little sus, but it didn't because it's Queen Abby Jimenez, and I just love her writing so much. She just is able to create these beautiful characters and make her stories super emotional while also being super funny. So yeah, this is technically the sequel to Say You'll Remember Me, but there's just like light crossover between the characters. This little series she does is just really fun because you do get glimpses of the other characters, but it's not like overpowering, and you would still be fine reading it without reading the other ones, but I would recommend, obviously. I really like this one. The trope in it isn't my favorite because it's Larissa has kind of a boyfriend and the love interest is with his best friend, but I still think Abby Jimenez did that really well. There's a lot of times where tropes like this could get fishy. She did it good, and I loved the male main character so much. He just is like my dream guy, like very acts of service. Before she's even asked, he's called to make sure the restaurant's safe for her because she has, I think, a nut allergy. Anyway, this was a beautiful story. I think you'll see this in another question in here. I might have to put a t-shirt on, I'm hot. This is my Say You'll Remember Me t-shirt. It's very fitting for that book. Also an honorable mention is Dungeon Carl. Bro, if you watch my reading vlog of this, you know I say that every time. Dungeon Crawler Carl 2. I don't know the name of it. Yeah, I went into the first book seeing it everywhere and kind of just, it was widely loved, and I wasn't necessarily expecting to love it. It was very much so like I could either love this or it could not be for me at all. So I was really surprised and excited that I wanted to go into the second book immediately, and that's what I did, and I really enjoyed it. And this series is so fun. I think too the way it's being told is super interesting, and I'm really liking it so far. I would say overall this would be like rated higher, but I do still want to mention that one because I think that series is one that's kind of intimidating for people because it's so just different, like in a good way though. Next question. Oh, this one I'm so excited about because I feel like there is so many new releases coming out lately that I'm just so excited for, and I also could talk about them for this entire video, but I'm just gonna narrow it down to 2, and you may or may not be seeing these in a reading vlog soon. Okay, the first one being Light Wielder. I have been waiting for this book for years. I read Metal Slinger really before it kind of blew up on TikTok from a recommendation from Emmy, of course, when she first read it. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and I'm actually in the middle of my reread right now, so I can read the second one because I am so excited for it. But I read it so long ago in 2023 or 4 that I needed the refresher, and I haven't been reading as much fantasy lately, so I needed to just like refresh my mind and get back in the fantasy zone, which this book is definitely doing. So Light Wielder is probably my next read after I finish the reread of Metal Slinger. I'm so excited about it. Probably my next read after that, or maybe we'll tandem read them. I don't know. You'll have to wait for the reading vlog. Is going to be Phoebe Berman. I am so excited for this. I think Phoebe is going to be kind of a really life-changing character for me. One of my close friends read this book. I asked her what she thought of it, and she genuinely just said life-changing. I said, yeah. I feel like I'm gonna feel the same way. I think Phoebe's just gonna be really relatable and real and honest, and I just really am excited to read something different in a romance book, and that is exactly what I think this is gonna be. I'm so excited about it. This book is also shorter than I thought it was gonna be, so I'm really excited about that because we love a short book. I'm also just really excited to read from Brooke Averick. I don't really listen to her podcast or anything like that. There's no reason, it's just I don't really listen to podcasts or anything like that, but I'm really excited to support someone like this who published a book and completed one of their dreams. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I don't know if I can say anything except for ACOTAR 6, and I feel like that's such a cliche response, but genuinely, and also I just feel like I'm not educated on what books are else coming out the rest of the year. I think a lot of my big ones have already came out this year, Light Wielder and just just Ashley Poston's, Annabelle Monhan's, all of those. So yeah, I am super excited for that. I'm not going to talk about it more because it's probably over talked about, but I'm so excited for it. I plan on taking the day off work, and luckily my boss is an ACOTAR fan, so she will understand. Biggest surprise of the year, I have two for this, and I took it as good surprise, not necessarily bad surprise. The first one, genuinely, it still shocks me how obsessed I am with this universe, and specifically the men in this universe, and that is Off Campus, the series. I have yet to continue it past this book, partly because I want to drag out the obsession. Like, I want to get back into the book and like rewatch the show once I forget about it a little bit. So yeah, this was such a shock. I have had this book since 2022. I have had it listed for sale before on like a book selling site. It hasn't sold, thank God. Genuinely, I thank God for that every day, because also this is the indie, so I'm so excited about that. And who would have thought I would have become so obsessed with the universe that has been sitting on my physical TBR for literally 4 years? Who would have thought? Obviously, I owe a lot of that to the show, but I think just the casting, just the portrayal of them made me so much more obsessed with this, because I can say with certainty if I would have read this years ago, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But now that I have the show to watch too, it made it so much better, and I'm so obsessed with this. And again, like, I'm so surprised. Like, I didn't think I would like this book, hence why it was literally for sale. So yeah, I am so excited that I'm so obsessed with this. I genuinely still cannot escape the edits, and just my entire feed is just Off Campus boys and Love Island. It's such a time to be alive, honestly, obsessing over some hot men. It's great. So yeah, this was just really, really shocking, but in a good way. And then the other one I said was Dungeon Crawler Carl. I kind of already talked about why this was surprising, but just like the idea of I was either gonna love it or not like it. It was gonna either be for me or just not my typical read, but I really did love it. I love these characters so much, and this book was so interesting, and I think it's gonna become a show soon, which I feel like I've said that from the beginning, that this would be such a good show, because it's just very kind of different and like hard to picture a little bit. And then we have Biggest Disappointment. I think this book completely sums up that, and that would be If He Had Been With Me. I read this for my Reading OG Book Talk books, and I thought that video was so much fun, and this book has been one again on my physical TBR for so long, like probably even longer than I've had the deal, so like 2022, 2021, and I always thought I was gonna love this book, but I've been putting it off for so long because I thought I was just gonna like sob and cry and be so devastated by it, which is what everyone says, of course, but I just wasn't. I did not shed a tear, and I just didn't really care. Like, it was kind of boring to me, and the end and like what happens and everyone's like devastated with, I just wasn't, and it just felt very flat for me. So I was very disappointed, because this book has been on my shelf for a long time, but not because I wasn't interested in it. I was always interested in it, but I was always scared of it because I didn't want to be devastated, basically. So yeah, definitely the biggest disappointment of the year. We have Favorite New Author, Debut or New to You. I kind of think the first two might be debuts, but I'm not 100% sure, but I know the third one is not. So these are the two that I kind of think are debuts, and we have Paige Harvison, and obviously if I give a book 6 stars, I'm gonna want to read what else the author has written. So of course this one, I just loved her character building, her world building, and this was a book that I felt like I could see the world perfectly, and that doesn't always happen for me, so I was really excited about that. Another one I absolutely loved was Lauren Oakey's The Best Worst Thing, and I put this in here because I know she actually just came out with another book, so I'm so excited for it because I loved this one. Again, she just can build this amazing setting and these amazing characters, and I loved this because it was a very emotional romance while also being, you know, like happy and all of those things, and it felt kind of more almost literary fiction with a subplot of romance at times, and I really like that. So I definitely want to read her other book, and I'm so excited to get to it. And then this author is just a new to me one. I had never read one of her books before, and it is safe to say that it will not be my last. I don't annotate, I really don't, but this book I had to. This was actually my first read of the year, and clearly like it hit real hard. I really enjoyed the main character's connection in this, and it was something that I was able to relate to, and so it just made it hit so much harder, because there are quotes in this that I still think about to this day 6 months later, and I'm just like, that's just like too relatable. Like, how did she put that into words? This was an extremely hard read though. It brought out a lot of emotions from me. Seeing what our characters go through in this book, it was devastating, and I feel like I learned so much about myself, and I came to a lot of realizations about things that have happened to me. And I loved Kennedy Ryan's writing, and again her character building and her storytelling and just everything about it. And so I'm so excited to, one, continue the series, two, read her entire backlist. I already have, see, like at home I know where everything is on my shelves. I used to know. No, that's sad. I already have this book on my physical TBR from her that I'm so excited to get to. Okay, what else we get? Book that made me happy. I'm gonna quickly just mention Dungeon Crawler Carl. I said it right for this one because I talked about that for a couple other books. This book just made me laugh. I loved the bond of our two main characters in this. It was so unexpected but so fun. This book made me so happy because although it's like a serious story, like they're in a serious like life or death situation, it was still hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I genuinely think I smiled the entire book. And then I have three more that also made me happy because that's just what this year has been reading wise. The Night We Met, again, I already talked about this, and even in my reading vlog I think I mentioned just how giddy an Abby Jimenez book makes me. She just has a way with words. She just has a way to build characters, and this book was the epitome of happy, but also it's Abby, so still emotional and all of those things. The main guy in this, he made me so happy, and he like restored my faith in men even though he's fictional. And then also Our Perfect Storm. I have in the past not really loved Carly Fortune's books, specifically her first two I read, Every Summer After and then this one. I didn't necessarily love them, but then I read One Golden Summer and I did like it. So this was kind of, again, another test to see if I like her newer books, and it turns out I do. This was just the perfect summer book. It got me so in the summer spirit. When I was reading this, I was outside, I was tanning, all the things, and then the second I finished this book, I did that for a couple more days, and now I like don't go outside because it's so hot. So this book really helped me romanticize summer. It was fun, it was sweet, it was happy. Another book that made me happy, like I feel like happy's kind of, I don't know if that's the right word to describe it, I guess just like happy to be reading, because I was really into fantasy. I feel like that's what I exclusively read in like 2023, and I've kind of strayed away from it, and I literally got like a fantasy tattoo, so I'm like crap, like I need to get back into it. And this book really helped me do that. Ever since I read this book, I've been craving the fantasy genre again, and first of all I need to read the second one, but I just absolutely loved reading this and getting back into fantasy. It felt so good, and I'm just so happy to be back. Such a fun fantasy book, and there were times where I was so happy reading this because of some of like the found family and the friendships in this book were so beautiful. And then we have the most beautiful books that I bought this year. This first one I bought from a garage sale. Oh, the sticker's still on it. $1, and I'm calling it the prettiest book I bought this year. This is Consider Me. I have always seen this in bookstores, but I kind of just thought it was like a small town, whatever, spicy romance. Turns out it's a hockey romance. And if we circle back to me talking about my obsession with off campus, then we know I've been obsessing with hockey. So I saw this for $1, and I was like, I am so sold, it's not even funny. And just this cover is insane to me. It's like this beautiful watercolor landscape, and I'm obsessed. I'm so excited to read this. The cover sold me, and also the $1 price tag. Another one is a new release that I've already mentioned in this video. We have Phoebe. I have been obsessed with pink lately. My whole new apartment is pink themed basically, and I've just been loving it. I've always loved cherry print too, and I just think this is beautiful. I love the font, absolutely stunning. And look, you guys aren't ready. Yeah, exactly. Literally exactly. And then last question, we have books I'm so excited to read for the rest of the year, which if you guys saw my bookshelf video, you would know I have a hefty physical TBR. So like all of these, I'm so excited to read them all. But specifically these three I picked out that I am just so excited to read and that are on my radar right now. And like I could obviously mention Agatar 6, but I'm not gonna. I'm excited for a lot of books, but these are what I'm excited for right now. Number 1, Light Wielder. Also, if anyone knows if it's just a duology or a trilogy, let me know, because I need to mentally prepare if it's a trilogy. The book that I genuinely have to get to this year, or I'm gonna be so mad about myself, is Alchemist. When this came out, I feel like I was obsessed with it, and I actually started this book, but I could not lock in. Again, I was kind of in my like fantasy slump, whatever, but I want to read this so bad. This is a book that I feel like I'm gonna give 5 stars, and I feel like it's a book that's gonna change my life, and I need that. But with that being said, I'm scared as well to read this year, not just excited. terrified. Again, another book I'm so excited to read is the sequel to The Will of the Many, The Strength of the Few. With how that book ended, I need some answers. I need a lot of them, actually. And I felt really attached to our main character, Vis, in it. I genuinely love him. I love him. I feel maternal towards him. Like, I love him. I'm really excited to see how this story wraps up. I don't know if it's gonna wrap up in this, actually. I don't know why I said that. I feel like this is not a duology, now that I say that. I'm really excited to get to this. I have so many questions, and just the way the last book was told, there were so many different fantasy elements in it that I loved, and I'm just really excited to read more of the writing as well too. I'm not gonna go into depth, but also Phoebe, I'm so excited for this book. It's not even funny. It's taking everything in me to not start this right now, but I know I need to give Middle Slinger and Light Wielder all of my attention. Okay guys, I think that is all the questions I'm gonna answer today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know your answers to some of these questions below, specifically favorite book of the year, because I would love to read it. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.